Hey everyone, we are live. Happy Monday, October 3rd, our first plant-based morning show in October, and also the first one in which we are multi-streaming. We're now on a bunch of other channels, Facebook, YouTube, not quite Twitch just yet, but one of these days. Let me see a few minutes till Doug gets in here and let some people come in. But anyway, it's a fun show today. We've got a bunch of different articles. No major groundbreaking, big controversial articles, but some really fun stuff as usual. We've done a good job of spinning up some fun content out of little news recently, which has been fun. There he is.
Happy Monday, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How's it going?
It's going well.
Any clear quality degradation now that we are
I don't think so. I think this has worked. I guess it works. I guess what will be kind of awkward is that I think you could see me on Facebook probably way before you could see me on Instagram.
Right.
So
yep. We'll have to get that timing
kind right. Yeah. But hey, this is awesome. We're on multiple channels, multiple platforms, and the Plant-Based Morning Show continues to grow.
In theory, we're on those multiple channels. We have no idea right now if anything's actually working. I haven't seen any chats come in yet from that, but if we do, we'll know. And if not, then it's just a good little test. Actually, it says people are watching. So anyway,
okay,
good,
all right.
Good news. So Doug, how was your weekend? We usually like to start with the weekend update. Before we get into some big news for the show, which we'll just put right in the regular news today, because we won't tease that just yet.
Okay.
But how'd your weekend go?
It was all right. I was sick for most of it, so that was kind of too bad. Definitely, you could probably tell on Friday I was feeling a little under the weather. Saturday definitely got worse. Snapped out of it a little bit yesterday, which is good because I got out for a hike. And most importantly, it was my daughter's birthday party, so I had to be at least well enough to do that, and that was fun. We made homemade pizzas for the party, and
nice.
Celebrated with Thomas the Train and
a
vegan
house?
Cake. No bouncy house, no.
Okay.
But a vegan cake from Whole Foods. So it was a good weekend. It was nice. How about you?
Very nice. Did you have a birthday party? Like have people over? Or was it just a little family thing?
It was there were like 10 people there. So it was kind of like an extended family, good friends type thing.
Good.
But
okay. Good.
Yeah. We did Beyond Meat on many of the pizzas, which was a big hit.
Oh yeah, very good.
And the other thing we had Friday night was vegan crab cakes.
Oh yeah, you got the good catch?
Yeah, no, we did the Gardein. I finally tried the Gardein ones that I had purchased several weeks ago.
Yep.
That we talked about a couple. It was okay. It was all right. It was a little disappointing. You had hyped up the good catch ones so much that I was expecting a lot, and they were fine. They were good, but it didn't. There's no way I would have mistaken it for a real crab cake. Okay. And I'm honestly like blind tasting. I'm not even sure I could have identified it as a crab cake. So,
then you need to get good catch. That's just that's. I mean, it's entirely different. I'm sure it would. It was not like this because it's indistinguishable. It's just amazing. In my vegan meat explorations, Doug, this weekend, I kept them pretty low key. Yesterday, I made a stir fry. Aaron had bought this stuff from Trader Joe's that was like the Beyond Orange Chicken. At least that was my hope from Panda Express. It was It was Mandarin orange vegan chicken nugget things. Wow. That I had plans to put in a stir fry and make some rice and had a nice little lunch on Sunday. And those plans went awry when I preheated the cast iron skillet that I've been talking about, spending all this time getting it nice. I spent even more time since then, including Saturday. Did another hour and a half at 500 degrees in the oven, just getting it nice, slick surface. I dumped the nuggets in. And when I did that, I put oil in first. It was hot, screaming hot pan. I dumped the nuggets in, and there's like this plastic sauce pack that was in there that I didn't know was in there.
Oh, no.
That came out too into the cast iron skillet, melted. So all the sauce got out everywhere. And like, look, it turned into like, see that bump on there?
Oh my gosh! Wow!
Yeah. It turned into like this black, like molten lava, and somehow I flung it up on my finger as I was trying to scramble to save the nuggets.
Ouch! Yikes!
So it wasn't good. I had to move them to a new pan and everything. And in the end, like it wasn't a fair trial because we burnt them and stuff. But we did try it. And everyone thought these are not like the Panda Express.
Okay.
So that was a bit of a letdown. But it was okay. It wasn't bad. It's from Trader Joe's, reasonably healthy food. But a little bit of a failure.
A little bit of a failure. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. So
now my pan's ruined.
recondition the pan?
Yeah. Now it has huge like texture on it that I can't even get off with the scraping thing. So now I'm gonna have to like get the whole season layer off and everything and start over. I'm ready to give up. I'm just ready to move on to high tech nonstick.
Oh, that's funny. So let us know if you're watching what the most interesting thing you ate over the weekend is, and if you have something that you think we should mimic or recreate. Let us know in the comments.
Justin Fields, by the way, quick. We always like to check in on Justin Fields. Have you already done this, Doug? I see by your smile that you have.
Yeah. It was the first thing I looked up this morning when I got up.
The Bears lost. I think it was something like 20-12. He had 11 completions, which is half of his total from the previous 3 games. So that's not bad. This, of course, is the plant-based quarterback from the Chicago Bears. We've covered him a lot on the show if you're new. So anyway, he had those completions. That was kind of good. Apparently, there was some drop balls, and people are blaming his weapons and his protection. It's just not there. So people are saying he's okay. He's kind of improving his form, and he's working on stuff. And people said it wasn't a horrible game from him. Not to mention that they lost, but it's okay. He's not injured, and he's not the brunt of all the anger apparently in Chicago just yet. So we're okay. Plant-based athletes for the win.
That's good to hear. All right, so we have let's see, Lindell. Oh man, I'm so bad at reading these names.
Yeah, you are pretty bad at reading the
names. she says that scrub the pan with coarse sea salt and oil to remove the burnt spot.
Okay, but then that's going to take off my seasoning layer, I think, right? And then I've got to re-season everything, or maybe I'll just do it just in the burnt spot. I don't know. We'll see.
Give it a shot. That sounds like good advice. And then we have C. Baldwin 78 says that they made homemade falafel, which I have to say we have never been successful with. I don't know if we talked about this in a previous podcast. We may have.
Yeah, you just said the restaurant falafels are never good, I think is what you said.
Except for neither are home falafels. We have tried many times to do the whole like deep frying of home falafels, and it always ends up just turning the entire house into a smoky mess. And like your clothes, not just the clothes you're wearing, but the clothes in the closet smell like burnt falafel for weeks. We've tried maybe 3 or 4 times, just given up. Now it's banned. We cannot make home falafels at home.
No deep frying whatsoever, or is it just the falafel that is the problem?
I think it was just the falafel because it would always fall apart. I don't know. It just never worked out for us.
Yeah.
But so mad props to C. Baldwin for the homemade falafel success. I hope it was a success.
I've made some really good falafel, believe it or not, from Brendan Brazier's book, Thrive. I think it's called Thrive Foods. I don't know. It's like his 3rd book, and it's quinoa falafel, which doesn't sound like it would be all that good compared to the delicious original chickpea falafel. But there's like a tahini sauce, and it's very simple. That is a delicious falafel recipe if you can ever get your hands on that. That book is, I don't know if it's still being printed, but it's a good one.
Yeah, great.
All right,
we got lentil chili, we got field roast hot dogs in the air fryer. Oh, that sounds yummy.
Yummy.
The whole health experience is making black soybean and chia seed burgers tonight. That sounds delicious.
Okay, very nice.
Let's see. Hold on, we got vegan chili, cornbread.
Wow,
all kinds of neat stuff.
Look at some stuff this weekend.
I know,
maybe that's the trick to asking people what they have for dinner is ask them on a Monday when they had the whole weekend to do stuff.
Something interesting. All right, good.
By the way, Doug, we have a chat. Our first live stream or multi-stream comment has come in from Ryan Messer.
Oh, right.
It was OMG, it's Matt, which is cool. I don't know if that's a reference to my never being on Facebook anymore, or maybe just excitement, which would be wonderful. So thank you, Ryan, for doing that. Now I know that someone's seeing it on live stream or multi-stream. All right, before we get into the news, Doug, my last thing I've got is I have dinner already in the works for tonight. My wife's been really doing all the meal planning recently, and I have not. So I have this book called Accidentally Vegan Italian Soups, and the weather has turned cold recently, and I thought perfect thing to pull out. So these are old, I like that we've called it peasant cooking. We've said peasant cooking is maybe not the best name, but Accidentally Vegan is really a nice description for what these types of recipes that I like are, where they tend to use cheap ingredients in these old recipes. And they're, old traditional things. They're cheap. They don't involve a lot of animal products. If they do, they're easy to remove. But this book, Accidentally Vegan Italian Soups, has 30 or 50 stews in it that are simple to cook. Not all simple, but they're easy to cook, usually cheap. So anyway, I'm doing a white bean saffron something soup tonight, which I thought would be nice for the fall now that it's October.
Excellent. And your wife just gave you a shout out in the Instagram comments. So
hey, look at that. Yeah. I even cooked the beans yesterday ahead of time.
Oh, wow. Impressive.
Really? All right, good. So, Doug, on to the news. We've got our first article here, not at all self-serving or anything. It's from Veg News. 11 vegan podcasts you need to subscribe to.
Need
to, right? So that, see that, you think, okay, good. Like to see some podcasts. Still not thinking about ourselves. I just saw the headline. Rich Roll number 1, Our Hen House number 2, Brown Vegan Podcast number 3, number 4, the Plant-Based Morning Show. How exciting!
We did it, Matt.
We did it after 1 week of effort. Well, actually, more than that much effort. But 1 week of this being a podcast, and we landed on this. Came out on Friday. I didn't see it then, but so on this weekend came out on Friday. We had been doing a podcast for 1 week. That was our 8th day of a podcast at that point. So that's got to be some kind of record there for hitting a Veg News list.
Yes.
Number 5, we displaced number 5, No Meat Athlete Radio. Those suckers. We jumped ahead of them. So anyway, thanks, Veg News. Interestingly, Doug, last week was the one when we called out the vegan news industry and said we need change from within. We need sweeping reform here. We need we don't want to just be propaganda. We need to report the bad news, like when Justin Fields isn't good. So we called them out. So either they're listening and they've embraced it and they're amplifying us, or they just aren't listening at all, have no idea that we said any of that. I don't know, but nonetheless, we are appreciative. It was exciting for me to see that because I don't know, I care a lot about this show. It's been really fun to do it, and even down to the editing and trying to get the sound. We've had sound issues with the recordings of the podcast, and I keep apologizing for those, and I hate it. But hopefully, this multi-stream thing is going to fix those recording issues, because now we have a better backup recording source at least.
Yeah. So I guess we should mention, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google anywhere podcast. You get your any podcatcher, Pandora.
Anywhere. You can ask Alexa to play the podcast. Not the same. Right. I don't think she can subscribe to them, but she can.
And you would say, Alexa, play the Plant-Based Morning Show podcast, and they'll play the latest episode. And if you are especially into iTunes, because this is where it matters the most, give us a rating and a review and subscribe.
Yes, please do that. My daughter Ellie continues to listen to the podcast at night. I'm glad it's Monday because she's been listening to the Friday episode for now 3 nights in a row. So I just keep hearing the same episode every time we do bedtime. But
deep breath, celery. Relax.
Yes, there you go. Doug, I told you not to do that anymore, please.
Okay. What else we got?
Anyway, we're not going to read down the rest of the Veg News list, but you should check it out. Again, thanks to Veg News for including us there. All right, this one's seasonal. Someone says you just activated Alexa in their house. All right, this one is let's do the seasonal news here before we get into the real meat of the stories. Also from Veg News, Heinz encourages consumers to eat tomato blood ketchup for Halloween instead of animals. And the quote from this new Heinz ad is, "Next time you want to eat someone, I hope you'll reconsider and go vegetarian." A vegetarian vampire influencer says in Heinz's new PSA. Did you watch this ad, Doug?
I did, and I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's weird. I liked it better than I did that last ad, the corn ad that I didn't get at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is kind of good.
So basically it's a influencer vegetarian vampire who
Toby is his name.
Toby, and it's like he's talking directly to the camera, and he's kind of explaining how hard it is to be a vegetarian vampire, and why you should get to know get to know humans. Don't eat them. And he's speaking to other vampires. I thought it was hilarious and clever, and worth a good laugh. So go to
it is that. And you can see it on Veg News. You can see it at Heinz's YouTube channel. Does it have anything to do, Doug, with what we're talking about, vegetarian and vegan stuff? I mean, I know they say the word vegetarian when he's saying be a vegetarian vampire, don't eat humans. Is it? I mean, I don't know.
Well, the language is very similar, right? I mean, he's talking about he's like get to know them, and maybe they're not so bad, or like.
And I used to eat humans until I hung out with some and realized that they're actually So it alludes sort of to that. Veg News' headline, they say they're encouraging you to eat tomato blood ketchup for Halloween instead of animals, which doesn't. I don't really know if they're doing that. Maybe they are. I hope so. I don't know. I had to wonder, like, why would Heinz want to do that? Because people put ketchup on burgers, right? But I guess Heinz makes a whole lot more stuff than ketchup.
I mean, there's no way this is trying to get people to go vegetarian or vegan.
Funny thing that people.
It's just a funny thing. Yeah, I think so. I think that Veg News is making a stretch if they're trying to just to say anything else. But I do think it's clever. I think it's cute.
Good. All right. Then we don't need to give that any more time. All right. This one is a little bigger, Doug. This is also from Veg News. We're just returning the favor here to Veg News, which is good. I'm happy to do that. I am. I mean, that's I think maybe why these sites will like us, because we keep talking about their articles, because they have 90% of the vegan articles there are. Yeah. They and PlantBased News and The Beat we talk about all the time. Anyway, this one, Beyond Meat CEO Ethan Brown says vegan steak is coming. We found out where. The spoiler is it's somewhere in it's not Ohio like the other ones. Jewel Osco in the Midwest, which maybe is in Ohio. I don't know what Jewel Osco is, but I guess it's a grocery store. And then it's also on the vegan eatery Elephant and Vine in Chicago. So Veg News in the front of this says that it's whole cut vegan steak. When I hear whole cut, I thought that meant like a steak, like a
like a big, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the picture is their plant-based seared tips, and they show a Beyond Steak package. They talk about it coming. It's sort of it's not the same as the carne asada that's going to be in Taco Bell soon, also from Beyond Meat. But I think that's what they mean by whole cut. Like it's not ground, so it's this whole it's these beef tip things, which Gardein has had forever, and it was always okay. I never loved it. But this is kind of news. Apparently, there's also vegan popcorn chicken being spotted in some stores. But this is a big one, and Ethan Brown says this is probably one of our best products to date. So I'm kind of excited. Are you excited about beef tips?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they look pretty good. There's a picture of them in a taco, and I don't know if that is the Taco Bell taco.
It's the Taco Bell taco, because there's Taco Bell hot sauce there too.
Oh yeah, okay. But I mean, it looks pretty delicious. Some carne asada.
It's not carne asada. The Taco Bell is carne asada. This is just good old beef tips.
Good old beef tips. Well, you can make it carne asada, right? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. My question is, what are you going to do with this? Because I bought the Beyond or the Gardein beef tips one time and sauteed them, and I don't remember if we just ate them like with toothpicks, sort of out on a plate or something. I forget, but we didn't put them in anything because I didn't know what you would put these things in. They're like 1 or 2 by 2 inches. I just don't eat that. I don't think I ever ate that, even when I ate meat. So I don't know what you're going to do with this, other than put it in tacos. You have any other ideas?
It just looks like fajita meat to me. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, fajita meat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could put it in a stew. I mean, if you wanted to shred it up, you could do something else with it. I don't know. So,
that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I'm a little excited about this. I can't say I'm tantalized like I am about the carne asada tacos themselves.
Let's see. J Squid 81 says I've used the Gardein ones for stroganoff.
Okay,
pretty tasty.
That's good.
Sounds good.
I like that idea. Mm-hmm. We were talking about that. McKenna made mushroom stroganoff. She commented the other day on here.
Yeah,
and I said that seemed good. So that's a good idea. That would actually be pretty good. So there we go. And maybe like the old sour beef with dumplings kind of thing, right? I think that's more of a shredded beef, but I don't know. I sometimes think that seems kind of tasty. All right. Lorelei Goldman from the multi-stream from Facebook says, I love vegan sausage. I don't see how someone can call themselves an animal lover if they eat innocent animals. Would they eat their dog? Okay, so it's getting into to that sort of conversation. Yeah, we're with you there. That's why we're doing the show. No, with all these good vegan meats, really, who needs to eat something like their dog? Aaron says fajitas. Colleen says stir fry. Yeah, these are good ideas. These aren't bad. But do people put beef in stir fry? I don't remember that.
You could do I mean, I feel like a beef and mushroom is like a traditional Chinese stir fry.
Or beef and broccoli, right? That's
what I meant. Broccoli. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that would be pretty delicious. Actually, I could make a good Beyond beef and Beyond steak and broccoli. Yeah. Okay. And then at the bottom of the news, Doug, as you pointed out, Ethan Brown talking about the bubble popping. We've been covering that a lot recently. It seems like all the anti is the vegan food bust finally here or whatever, fake meat bust, and they all talk about Beyond Meat stock going down 70% and their COO getting arrested for biting someone's nose. So what do you think here, Doug? You spotted this, so tell me what you think, or just summarize.
So I just appreciated that Veg News asked about it. The headline or the let's see. I guess the section header is Ethan Brown is building a $40 billion vegan meat company. Right. $40 billion vegan meat company. And when asked about losing momentum, the reason to do what we do is the reason to do what we're doing, and the reason for the customer to engage with what we're doing strengthens every day. Basically, what they're saying is that anytime you're making a massive change, anytime you're disrupting the animal agriculture industry or something along those lines. There's going to be ups and downs, and they had their big up, and then the pandemic, and then the recession, and yada yada. There's all kinds of contributing factors as to why they might be struggling. They're get a lot of pushback, whatever. But there's going to be ups and downs. But we're getting better at it every day, and with reason to do it in terms of climate, human health, overall environment, land, energy, and water, animal welfare. All those reasons continue to be present and increase in importance. So they're saying, I mean, it's a good CEO response to some negative press, but and some bad trending stocks. But I thought it was good. I thought got to keep your head up, got to keep focused on the end goal, and you're going to have some ups and downs and your dips, and that's it.
Yeah. So he says my vision for this is a $40 billion company, not a $4 billion company. Ethan Brown is known for his vision, right? Because in the early days of Beyond Meat, he refused partnerships with grocery stores where they wouldn't put the Beyond Meat next to the regular meat in the meat case. They wanted to put it off in the weird vegan section, which, is fine. And that's a nice little section to go to. But he wanted this to be just like meat next to it, seen as an alternative to meat. And he refused to do it if he didn't get that. So that is vision. I do think that sort of stuff is great leadership. And so this is cool, right? He wants much, much bigger than what they already are, 10 times bigger. I don't know what their valuation is right now. I think it's under $1 billion, but I don't know. But he wants, he wants 40x or whatever it's going to take. So you likened this last week to the .com crash, or right, the bubble where there was all this excitement about the internet, and then it burst. And surely there were naysayers then. This was like year 2000, I think. People were saying, look, haha, that internet thing that everyone said was going to change the world. Look what happened to that. It went down 90%, all this, right? But now here we are 20 years later. And of course, that was just a small little hitch in the beginning. And so I think that's what he's saying is happening here. And I hope he's right. And I think he probably is. It's my guess. Based on, we're insiders now, though. We report this stuff every single day. And there's just so much news that I just can't see this going anywhere. It's just, and the sustainability thing, I keep seeing more and more about that. Lots of people covering that. And just how important it seems that the assumption that plant-based eating is important for sustainability of our planet, that is seeping in. People are still doubting it. There's debate about it, but it's seeping in, and it's different than it has been in the past. So I think you're right. I think this is happening. All right, we move on. Like I said, we got a lot of headlines today. No major huge one, but this one's New York City. The headline, it's really just a headline. I don't want to go into all of it, but they now have the mayor, Eric Adams, who I think he was on the No Meat Athlete Radio podcast. Am I correct about that?
That's right. Yep.
He wasn't maybe yet the mayor. I think he was maybe Brooklyn something.
That's right.
But anyway, he came on there. He's making change. And right now in the hospital system, there are 3 hospital, I don't know if they're hospital locations. I think they're hospital districts in New York. The primary dinner options for inpatients at H&H/Lincoln, Metropolitan, and Woodhall hospitals. So, okay, these are hospitals. They are culturally diverse plant-based meals. Primary dinner option. And it expands on their successful plant-based lunch default program, launched in March of this year, which now has a 95% satisfaction rate. We cover a lot of jokey news about Beyond Steak and Heinz ketchup ads. But this is pretty serious thing, right? This has been forever. People talk about what a joke it is. Speaking of jokes, what a joke it is that in hospitals of all places, that the food options down in the cafeteria are what they have been, which is hamburgers and French fries and fried chicken and just the worst food. It's a fast food restaurant basically, and it's what they're feeding to sick people who really need healthy food. And so I don't. Apparently, they're just talking about satisfaction, right, of the patients. But I know the plant-based diet is a long-term solution. It's not an immediate overnight health fix for anyone. But to me, the way that meat and a lot of these saturated fats and other things inflame arteries after you eat them, it has to precipitate heart attacks in people. I mean, it does. And so does, I'm sure there's awful plant foods that do the same thing. But that stuff, if you eat a horrible thing, the after meal inflammation of arteries is a real thing. And so if you're doing that to people who are there because they're sick or because they have heart problems, which no one batted an eye at a few years ago, it's going to be. So I have a feeling that they're going to start to see actual health successes with this, that they're going to see patients, having better hospital stays, less chance of, whatever the scary incident is happening while they're in the hospital. It's not based on much data on my part. It's just what I observed that was there, what I know about what happens after you eat a meal like that. what this is. So I don't know. I think this is really exciting, and I'm very glad that it's happening, and I hope that kind of data comes out soon so that this can expand.
Yeah. No, this is incredibly exciting for the patients, for the doctors, for the guests. I think doctors may feel more energized or like better. Just like instead of eating a heavy meal and be able to perform better. As you said, patients who are recovering for something need food that is nourishing their bodies, that is giving them exactly what they need to recover, and not a bunch of junk food. I think this is fantastic. It is a shame that it's taken this long, but I'm glad to see that some hospitals are trending that direction. The only time I've spent any significant amount of time in the hospital is at the birth of my first daughter, and there were just so few options for us at the hospital for 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever it was. We just ate nothing but junk food and like black bean burgers and fries, basically. Yep. And that's not a good way to recover, or not a good way to be. So I think this is fantastic.
You know what I really like, Doug? This maybe just the slightest bit controversial with our crowd, but I don't think so. I like that it's the default option. It's not the only option. They're not saying we're banning meat from these hospitals, because to me, if you do that, then people get in an uproar, and the vegan movement looks bad because we're coming in and telling people they can't have what they want. Just make it the default, so people have that and they have the option to switch, but it takes a smallest amount of effort to switch away from what is here. And if you don't make that effort, you get this. I think it's great. I think it'll inadvertently have people inadvertently trying plant-based meals, and they'll say, hey, that wasn't that bad. Or I feel good after that. So I like that kind of politics, if that's what it is.
It seems like
the default.
It seems like that's the trend these days, is with the whole Burger King thing of like, do you want it regular or with meat?
Right.
Something else we were talking
in
about
Austria, by the way, for those who are new, that in Austria, Burger King was offering, they were saying it that way. Do you want it regular, or do you want it with meat if you ordered a Whopper?
Mm-hmm. There was something else we were talking about last week. I don't know if it was similar, where the kind of default was trending plant-based. And so I just think I think this is the way to do it, right? Forcing something down people's throat is always going to have a lot of pushback, but having, that's a bold move to have the go-to, the default be plant-based option. That's a bold move, but it still allows people to have the freedom that they would want, and hopefully they'll just continue to default towards the plant-based option and trend more and more in that direction. So
very nice. You get a Mario coin sound for that.
All right.
That.
So thank you, Eric Adams.
Yes, thank you, Eric Adams. And finally, Doug, we've got one more story to cover today. This is the big one. Maybe not that big. I did get some press releases about it in my email inbox, because I know someone on the inside.
Wow.
We may have a special guest related to this coming up pretty soon. Our first official special guest. Okay.
I was like, wow, man, I didn't know you had like insiders now.
Yeah. The news is, this is the beat, or the plant-based news. Sorry, plant-based news article says, meet the vegan athletes shutting down stereotypes at this year's Mr. America contest. We, Doug, are plant-based athletes. No Meat Athlete Radio is our other podcast, and that's what I've done and you've done for the better part of, me more than a decade, you probably a decade. So when there's plant-based fitness news, we got to talk about it. The news here is that a whole bunch of plant-based bodybuilders, strength athletes are descending on Atlantic City for this year's Mr. America competition, which happens, I think it's this upcoming weekend. And it seems it's called Plant Built. Giacomo Marchesi, our friend, and Danny Taylor, they're the co-founders of this thing. Maybe other co-founders, I'm not positive on that. But they're going there to compete right alongside the non-vegan athletes, the omnivorous athletes, I think they call them in these different things. And it's my understanding here, whoever our surprise guest is, can fill us in on whether I'm correct here. They're not just doing bodybuilding, not just doing strength competition. They're doing both. And I guess maybe that's something that is standard. I didn't realize it was. But I like that, because now you get strength work. You get also, because this is a totally different skill, right? Who can have the best physique and who can pose the best, which is a skill, versus who's the strongest. Because there are plenty of really, really strong people who, maybe still have some body fat and aren't physique competitors. So anyway, I'm sure my terminology is not accurate here, but it's like an all around thing. So I'm really curious. This is going to be super fun to see if the plant-based people can win some stuff. I don't honestly know if they're going there with that intention. I know Nick Squires, who was in our book, The Plant-Based Athlete, he's got some California deadlifting records, so he's surely going there with the intention to win. I'm sure in large part, it's also like, let's just show up with a whole lot of plant-based athletes who perform well. But I'm curious to learn more about this when we talk to Robert. But this is cool. I think this kind of visibility, this has always been the story, that when we can make a splash in this fitness world, not just the endurance world, where it kind of makes sense that a plant-based diet would work well because, lighter frames are going to maybe last longer when they run. But in strength and size, that's still not what the mainstream associates with plant-based. It's not even what I associate with plant-based for the most part. So it's really good to see this and that kind of statement made.
Absolutely. I think it's awesome. The more we can show up in droves like this, I think the better. I wish them all success, but even if not, I think that just being able to be there and compete and be, part of that crowd, I think is important and big. Did you mean to spill the beans?
No, I did not. Did not. Maybe we didn't catch it.
Yeah, you spilled the beans there.
It's okay. Anyway, I was actually invited to go. I mean, no one was paying for me, but I was invited to go attend and play some bets in Atlantic City, which I for a second, just like my trip to Ohio to get the Burger King Impossible Chicken and the carne asada, I thought about it for just a second. That'd be a pretty good spot to do the show from, but
definitely
I didn't, because we have soccer games and things like that. So unfortunately, I'm at a phase in my life where those kind of road trips are not that practical. Okay, Doug, I think we are just about done. this is not really a final thought, but the final food release. I missed this 2 weeks ago. Somehow, totally missed it. Every week, Veg News puts out their 5 new, or I don't know, their top 5 new things coming this week. This was from a few weeks ago, but we always talk about Louisville vegan jerky. It's our favorite order, favorite order from our No Meat Athlete sponsor, which is called Thrive Market. But you're a Louisville, frequenter. Anyway, they now have bacon bits that are coming out, which is cool. I believe, Doug, that all bacon bits or the classic bacon bits actually are vegan. Did you know that?
No way. Is that true?
Yeah, I think it was just a fake. I mean, it might have been made out of soy. I don't know. But it's sold in a jar, and it's like a spice. You sprinkle it on stuff, so like they can't put bacon in there; it would spoil.
Right.
So it's some sort of high tech thing that isn't bacon.
Well, I mean, maybe like a high dehydrated bacon, right? Like
maybe you're right. Yeah, I don't know. What do I know? But I am fairly certain that bacon bits are one of those accidentally vegan foods, like Oreos, where it's still junk food. It's not good because it's vegan, but if you wanted it, you could have it. But they were never really good. Bacon bits, they always tasted like bacon bits. They didn't taste like bacon. So Louisville, I'm guessing they're going to make theirs out of wheat gluten, which is what their jerky is made of, and their jerky is very good. So I think it's going to be better, and they make a very nice smoky flavor and all that. So I think these bacon bits are going to be something I will definitely get and put on a salad or something.
For what? But for salad?
Salad, yeah.
Okay.
What, you don't eat salads, Doug?
No. Just kidding. No, I don't know. Just maybe bacon bits aren't something that I don't know.
You know what else they could work in?
A lot of these recipes and not very flavorful. Yeah, like maybe these will be a lot better. But on top, what would be good? What I would get them for is like baked potato. It's so rare that I make a baked potato, but man, that would be really good on a baked potato.
That would be good. So a lot of times, Doug, when I make these Italian recipes, they're pasta dishes. They've got a bunch of vegetables. They start with onion, olive oil, garlic, but they also often tell you to put prosciutto in there, like not that much, like a quarter cup of chopped prosciutto, or there's another Italian meat. I'm forgetting what it's called, but it's a cured thing like that. And I'm always missing that. I never found a good thing to do instead. This weekend I tried the Unreal Deli corned beef, which I'd had before, but I tried using that in that kind of context. It didn't work. It was too sweet for like a pasta dish. And I've done the tofurkey deli slices. That's kind of the best I've found so far. But anyway, this could be really good for that, because this may have some of that little bit of bacon smoky flavor. And maybe once you get them in the pan and you put some oil, maybe they'll soften up a little bit and become really good kind of prosciutto type substitute in a meal like that. So, or just sprinkle them on top, honestly, at the end. That could work as well.
Yeah, sounds good. C. Baldwin, 78, suggests potato soup. That actually sounds pretty good too.
That's actually a very good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Linda Lang's offered to go report at NAC.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be great. And we could, if you DM us, we could give you some bets to make as well. And you can do a lot of things in one trip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, and Jeffrey noticed that I spilled the beans on who the guest is tomorrow. Yes. I think it's tomorrow. Might be Wednesday. I'm not actually sure, but it should be fun to have a guest co-host. See how that goes. Don't know if it'll be both of us or just one of us, Doug, but we'll give it a try. Should be fun.
Good to go. It's a big learning experience.
Anymore.
Thanks, everybody.
We didn't have anything controversial enough to deserve a final thought today.
No, I don't think so.
We'll skip that. But yeah, good to be back. The weekends, Doug, I actually, as much as I enjoy a good weekend, I miss this show. 11 o'clock rolls around on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm like, just want to be up here and kind of doing this. It's a rush.
I know. I spent my Saturday night doing some, like, getting us set up for some of this stuff, and I think you did too. So yeah, it's
like multi-stream.
Yeah, no, I think we're onto something, whether anyone actually cares about this or not.
Well, Veggie News noticed. I do think people care. To me, there's a lot of people who are. I'm surprised at how many people actually care about this because it's kind of a goofy show, but they do. So thanks. If you watch this on multi-stream and are still watching, which who knows how that worked, I don't know, but it's still running. People have commented. Thank you for doing that. If you're watching that way, you notice we don't look at the camera very much because we have different cameras than our phones for Instagram. We're gonna get webcams and have that look a better setup. But this was kind of our trial run. Bunch of other stuff we can do with the multi-stream that we're not doing yet. Maybe even get on Twitch, Doug. That could be fun. I never would have thought my 41-year-old self would be opening a Twitch account, but it may happen.
We get on Twitch, people can give us donations, right? Isn't that how Twitch works?
I don't know. People can give us donations now too if they want. That can be arranged.
We gotta fund this. I'm spending way more money on fake meat now that we've started the show than I ever thought I would.
Me too. Yeah, we should start using the business expense account for that.
Yeah,
I think that's, as far as I know, that's legal in the IRS's eyes.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, well, thank you all for attending, and this is fun. We'll be back tomorrow with or without a special guest, not sure, but we'll hopefully keep doing the multi-stream thing and keep growing onward.
That's right. Thanks, everybody.
Right. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Doug, we are still live streaming, just so you're aware. Don't end that just yet. I don't know how to end it.